Most people think their estate plan is solid until something goes wrong. Even if you have a trust, even if it was drafted by a top attorney, it can still go wrong. It's not that people aren't planning, it's that they're planning for the wrong things. Having an estate plan and having an estate plan that actually works are two completely different things. My name is Chris McClure, and for the past 30 years, I've helped successful families build wealth and, more importantly, transfer it efficiently to the next generation. You see, it's not the documents that make the plan work, it's how everything fits together. Between your investments, your taxes, your business interests, and your family dynamics. When that coordination breaks down, even the best legal work can fall apart. Richard came to us after his father had passed away. His dad had been wealthy. His dad had $12 million in assets. He built a successful manufacturing business. And he also had what everyone thought was a solid estate plan. The family had worked with a well-respected estate attorney. They had a revocable trust. They had pour-over wills, all of the right beneficiary designations. On paper, everything looks great. When Richard's father died, the family discovered a problem that no one had really anticipated. You see, they lived in a high inheritance tax state. Most of the wealth was tied up in the business. The estate needed about $1.8 million or so to pay taxes, but the business, it can't generate that kind of cash quickly without severely damaging operations and the business. So the family had three options. They could sell the business to outsiders, they could take on massive debt, or they can liquidate other investments at terrible prices. They actually ended up selling to a competitor for 40% less than what the business is worth just 2 years earlier. Richard's words still stick with me. He says, "We had all the right legal documents, but we didn't have a plan that actually worked." And the funny thing is that the documents are usually fine. What's missing is the actual cash and the coordination. Mary's situation looked nothing like Richard's, but underneath she had the same trap. Sarah faced a different version of the same issue. She owned $18 million in real estate and had built a beautiful trust, and it was structured to minimize estate taxes. But when we looked at her overall picture, we found a gap that could have been devastating. Her estate would have owed roughly $3.2 million in taxes or so between everything that she owned. But nearly all of it was in illiquid real estate. Her kids would have to sell properties, possibly in a down market, just to pay the government. So we worked together to solve this before it became a crisis. We purchased a life insurance policy inside an irrevocable trust. We restructured some of her property holdings and created multiple sources of liquidity. When Sarah passed away 3 years later, her family had options. They could keep the properties that they wanted and had cash available for everything else. You see, that's the difference between planning on paper and actually planning in real life. And unfortunately, these aren't rare cases. I see versions of these almost every single week. And the families who don't fix it early usually don't, unfortunately, get a second chance. And estate plans, they truly break down in predictable ways. They typically don't account for liquidity needs. See, your heirs might inherit assets, but they also inherit tax bills that need to be paid in cash. You might be invested for growth. You might have real estate or a business or investments invested for growth. But your estate plan might be written as if you still own all the same stuff that you did 20 years ago. And they don't adapt to changing circumstances. Business values change, tax laws change, family situations change, but most plans, they just sit in a drawer for decades. And so when you've built wealth, your estate planning needs to match that level of sophistication. You see, it's not about generic documents, it's about creating a system that works with each of your specific assets, with your family dynamics, and with your long-term goals. So if you're serious about getting this right, not just about having documents, but having a real strategy, there's a link below to schedule a call. And we'll take a look at your plan and show you exactly where the gaps are based on your numbers, your family, and your goals. You know, I really love making these videos, and I hope you'll join me in the next one.